This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV. 5 topics in about 10 minutes for Tuesday, August 1st, 2023. I'm Derek Gilbert. Topic number 5 today, war comes to Moscow. Again, another drone attack on the city of Moscow. And on Sunday, a day after that attack, Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky says he's ready to return the war to Russia's own territory, emphasizing that this is inevitable. He's described increasing attacks on Russian territory as inevitable, natural, and absolutely fair in the process of the war between these two nations. Now, the U.S. early in the conflict had urged restraint in extending this war across the border into Russia, concerned, obviously, that Russia's President Vladimir Putin might take that as a trigger to widen the war and begin attacking NATO's eastern flank, drawing the United States into what would inevitably become World War III under that circumstance. But there's mounting testimony and evidence that suggests that U.S. support for certain major attacks on Russian-held territory, specifically the Kerch Bridge that connects the Crimean Peninsula, claimed by Russia since 2014, and Russia proper, which has been hit twice now since the beginning of this war, was done at least with U.S. foreknowledge and perhaps with U.S. support. So it seems that President Zelensky is feeling bold enough now to openly declare his intent to strike deep in Russian territory. Again, something that the United States and the West have been urging him to not do, or at least, to maintain plausible deniability. Putin, however, is signaling that he is prepared to retaliate if, in fact, this continues. He said in remarks on Sunday, referring to possible or the potential for a direct war between the United States and Russia, saying that Russia is always ready for any scenario. And by the way, a report from Financial Times within the last couple of days says that Ukrainians are now so desperate for ammunition that they are firing North Korean-made rockets at the Russians. These are being launched from Soviet-era Grad multiple missile launchers. The Ukrainian soldiers not happy about having to use these because they misfire about a third of the time, but they say that they had been captured from a ship by a friendly nation. Ukrainian defense officials saying, no, we actually captured these from Russian soldiers. Either way, it just points to the desperation of the Ukrainian forces on the front line and just the impossibility of this continuing for as long as it takes, according to President Biden, at least without it turning into a wider conflict. Topic number 4, Illinois, my home state, where apparently being a United States citizen counts for next to nothing anymore. Governor J.B. Pritzker just signed a bill that would allow non-citizens, otherwise known as illegal aliens, to serve in law enforcement. Yes, illegal aliens can become police officers now under the new bill signed by Governor Pritzker. HB 3751 says that foreign nationals who are legally authorized under federal law to work in the United States, or any foreign national who is an individual against whom immigration action has been deferred by the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services under the Federal Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA process, the unconstitutional executive order issued by President Obama. Basically, what this says that anyone who's in the state of Illinois, illegally or otherwise, can potentially become a law enforcement officer. Fraternal Order of Police condemned the bill earlier this year, and during debate on the bill in the state Senate, Senator Chapin Rose, Republican, said it would be a fundamental breach of democracy to allow non-citizens to arrest American citizens. Yes, that potential now exists in the state of Illinois, where I remind you that recently the Illinois Supreme Court said it was okay for Illinois to essentially do away with cash bail, something that prosecutors and police in the state of Illinois said it's going to make essentially enforcing the law next to impossible. Very sad for my friends who are still in the state of Illinois. Topic number 3, electric vehicles. Ford slated to lose about $4.5 billion from its electric vehicle segment this year. That's $1.5 billion larger loss than it suffered in 2022. So far this year, the division's lost about $1.8 billion. The projected loss in 2023 more than double what it lost a year ago. Ford has also announced that the price of its electric F-150 pickup has been slashed thanks to Elon Musk's Tesla, which is kind of driving that market right now. Now, Ford did beat earnings last Thursday and reported adjusted EPS of 72 cents. That's beating expectations of 54 cents, so investors were happy about that. But reality is sinking in. Again, a $4.5 billion loss just in the electric vehicle segment, not what Ford signed up for when they began producing electric F-150s and electric Mustangs, which seems like, I'm sorry, that is just wrong. An electric Ford Mustang? I'm sorry, I can't get my head around that. Ford now says it is throttling back on plans to ramp up production of electric vehicles, blaming the price war for EVs as part of the cause for its losses, and telling shareholders it would need another year to meet its target of 600,000 EVs produced annually. Or it could be it's not the price, it's the fact that customers just aren't buying them, as we told you 2 weeks ago. Stocks of EVs on dealer lots for all brands around the country now reaching a record high. And reports coming out from analysts saying, we don't have the infrastructure to support electric vehicles. There aren't enough chargers. And in some cases, like in California, the electric grid just cannot support the demand for electricity for these vehicles, which, by the way, I remind you, was produced predominantly in the United States by fossil fuels. By an EV, you're essentially running a car on coal. Topic number 2, the mark of the beast. The World Economic Forum is planning for all citizens to be implanted with a central bank digital currency microchip in the very near future. CBDC, central bank digital currency. Familiarize yourself with that acronym because you're going to be hearing it more and more in the months and years ahead. This will be necessary to fully participate in society, to do basic things like buying food and water and paying your mortgage and paying to heat and cool your place of shelter. According to Professor Richard Werner, in the very near future, citizens will need to use the latest technology, such as a CBDC chip implant, his words, to access their bank accounts. Now, Werner is an economist, professor of banking and finance. He's known as the guy who developed the concept called quantitative easing. This is a post-crisis monetary policy in which a central bank buys government bonds or other financial assets. In other words, it directly intervenes in what are supposed to be free markets to stimulate economic activity. This is usually done when the central bank's interest rates are at or near 0%. And people are like, the economy's slowing, but I'm not getting any interest to put my money in the bank. I'm just going to hang on to my cash instead of spending it or putting it into circulation because there's no point in investing. I'm not getting any returns on it. So in order to stimulate the economy, get things moving, the Federal Reserve Bank or the Bank of England or the Central Bank of Japan, which is where this was first implemented in the 90s, will begin investing directly into markets to get the economy moving. The problem is that after years of ZIRP, which is zero interest rate policy, banks have, not the central banks, but regular commercial banks, have based their investment strategies on the belief that interest rates would be at or near zero forever. Comes 2023, inflation's running at a 40-year high, central banks begin raising interest rates, and suddenly commercial banks, where we keep our money, are finding themselves short of reserves. So in order to bring in enough reserves to meet minimum requirements, they've got to sell investments at a loss, which is why we've seen some of the biggest bank failures in American history. But I digress. Back to Professor Werner. He is still someone who understands and influences government policies. He's right at the heart of global finance. And at the Amsterdam Science Summit in 2022, it's finally being reported, he warned against the World Economic Forum's policies for us. Quote, you have to think of CBDCs as a control system or a permit system, not a currency. It's a conditional currency based on you actually getting that permit. Now, if you happen to be some kind of critic of government policy or a critic of central banks, this could be difficult. Or if you dare to step out of the 15-minute city zone, maybe you'll find that, my CBDC isn't working. I'm not shopping where I'm supposed to shop, or I'm trying to buy something that is not allowed. That's what Professor Werner is warning about. Again, this is not a fringe right-wing conspiracy nut. This is somebody right at the heart of global finance, and he is warning that the World Economic Forum and globalists aligned with it are trying to build what is essentially the mark of the beast, a CBDC implantable chip. We're watching prophecy being fulfilled in real time. Coming up, Amazon Prime can be convenient, but it can also be too much of a thing. That's ahead on 5 and 10.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to make sure you know how you can get your copy of this incredible new book in the John Clash special offer. When you order the John Clash special offer, you'll receive his brand new book, The Law of Attraction, a gateway drug to spiritual heroin. This phenomenal new work challenges the very validity of the dangerous Luciferian, heavily popularized ideology that false teachers and gurus describe as the law of attraction. In this book, John also uses a solid biblical framework to debunk the so-called scientific selling points that the law of attraction is predicated on. But that's not all. You'll also receive the amazing DVD Beyond Supernatural that features off-the-record interviews with popular former New Age author and speaker Stephen Bancars, where he details his long history and involvement with the New Age and shares his personal testimony of deliverance through Jesus Christ. And as a bonus, this DVD also includes the entire original Skywatch TV 5-part series on the second coming of the New Age. Also included in this must-have special offer, the 2-part DVD, Occultianity, How the End Times Church is Forming Now in Preparation of Antichrist, where Donna Howell and Allie Anderson walk you step by step through how a silent, complacent church is inadvertently laying the foundation for the bloodiest cult that the world has ever seen. All of these items hold a retail value of $75, yours now for your donation of only $35 plus shipping and handling, so don't delay. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special offer. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the John Clash special offer right now.
Item number 1 today. Imagine coming home and finding hundreds, yea, even thousands of boxes that you did not order from Amazon showing up on your doorstep. It could happen because it has to some people. For example, Cindy Smith showed up at home one day and found that a company called Lixiao Zhang shipped 1,000 headlamps, 800 glue guns, and dozens of pairs of binoculars to her home that she did not order. Well, Cindy contacted Amazon. They initially thought it was a brushing scam, which is where an online vendor creates fake sales in order to generate fake 5-star reviews. But when they dug into it, they found this was not the case. In fact, the merchandise was unsold stuff that nobody wanted to buy. And international shipping costing what it does, the Chinese vendor found that it was just cheaper to find some random person who subscribed to Amazon Prime and just send them the 800 glue guns and thousands of headlamps. Cheaper to find a random American customer and stick them with all of this stuff rather than shipping it back to China. This so they could clear out their warehouse to create new stuff. Or, as in the case yesterday, perhaps set up an illicit bio laboratory. Anyway, a woman in Washington, D.C. got a bunch of children's bedding. A woman in California got 100 portable heaters. And now, presumably, these are all being sold on eBay. Amazon, by the way, has banned those sellers for abusive behavior. This week on Skywatch TV, we talk about the law of attraction. This is a New Age belief that you can literally change your reality by thinking about it. And, in fact, it's manifesting inside the modern Christian church in very insidious ways. If you pray the right prayer, if you approach the courts of heaven and say the right things in presenting your case to God, you can change your reality. You compel God to answer the way you want him to answer. That's not how theology, that's not how this relationship with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ works. John Clash is our guest on Skywatch TV this week. Don't miss the programs with Joe Horn and the Skywatch investigative team. Our broadcast schedule is at skywatchtv.com/channels. You can watch it right now at YouTube, well, let's say Apple TV or Roku, or of course our website, skywatchtv.com, or you can go to YouTube or Rumble and find the programs there. But better yet, bypass the gatekeepers of big tech and download the Skywatch TV app to your smartphone or tablet. You can use Google's Chromecast or Apple's AirPlay to send the video content directly to your smart TV, but there are more advantages to the app. It also has news updates 3 times a week, a calendar of upcoming events, and more. It's available for iOS, Android, and Amazon Kindle Fire phones and tablets. Again, it is free, and we've got links to their app stores at skywatchtv.com. Thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.